We've created a solo cello virtual instrument with rhythm in mind, 150 playable rhythms and loads of other short percussive articulations, suitable for multiple genres and amazing for both scoring and songwriting. This is your music, but with the feeling, the excitement and the energy of a real live player. This is ROTOR. So the problem with creating rhythms from normal short articulations is you're losing all of that stuff that happens in between the notes. When a live player's playing a rhythmical passage, there's so much stuff that's happening in between the notes that they're playing that's where the energy is, that's where the movement is and the motion is. So that's what we really wanted to capture with this library. And the second thing with loop-based library is often they've been so quantized and heavily snapped to the grid that they've lost all of their sense of human timing. They're so robotic that there was no point in playing them with a human in the first place. You might as well have just programmed them. So the challenge for the team right from the start was to have these tempo synced rhythms, but for them never ever to lose their natural sense of human feeling. And that's what we've really achieved with this whole library. There's so much to explore, so much to dive into. Now the cellist for this is Polly Ver. She's been with us since the start. She was on Solo Strings Untamed and a heavy part of Novella Origin as well. And when we were coming up with this library, there was nobody else that we thought we would want for the library. We're just like, please, 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 we need you for this library. And she's absolutely gone to town on this. The inspiration from them has come from all sorts. We've had this huge pool of sounds and music and cues and scores just to come up with the inspiration and come up with the ideas for these rhythms, and loads of it has just been thrown live in the studio. So we never ever wanted to lose that like energetic excitement that comes from these types of styles and these types of rhythms. We were throwing up everything from like George Gershwin to NWA to Radiohead and saying, well, if there was a live rhythmical cello piece in this music, what would you do to it? And then we'd kind of come up with something on the fly and then get that down and keep and maintain and record that natural energy and excitement that happens when you hear something for the first time and you just want to record something straight away when you've come up with the idea. So that's what we've achieved with this library, is a real energetic human sense of timing. Loads of feel in this, loads of motion, and that's what it's great for just injecting energy, natural motion, natural human passion into your music. This is what this is built for. We'll go through the rhythms first because that is the real body of this whole library. 150 playable rhythms, multiple styles, tempos, feelings, time signatures. There's loads to explore. It will keep you busy for a very, very long time. You'll see a slight modification to our evergreen framework because you've got this filtering system up here to kind of get through them all and kind of like find the ones that you want to fit your work, whatever you're working on. So you've got tempo at the top, time signature, feel, and then a random button at the bottom if you just want to throw yourself a curveball and choose one that you weren't expecting to choose. So the tempo at the top, you've got 90, 120, 140, and then an auto as well if you just want to let the engine detect what your DAW's tempo is set at. And these tempos are what we've recorded them at. We've recorded specific rhythms at 120 because they feel good at 120. And then we've recorded specific rhythms at 90 because they feel good at 90. We haven't recorded the same rhythms just at 90 and then one at 120 and then the same thing again at 140 because that wouldn't feel good. Some of these rhythms are just designed to be played fast, so that's what you'll feel under the 140 ones. So that's to bear in mind with those, is to explore all of them, and they will all tempo sync. So whatever your DAW's set at, if you've got a composition at 160 and you choose one from the 90, it will still tempo sync and it will still sound good, but it's worth experimenting there. The reason I say that is because don't always just choose one that fits closest to your DAW's tempo. It's worth experimenting with 140s played at a really slow tempo because some of those things just sound absolutely amazing. So let's just play a few of these now. So I've got my DAW set to 120. These are a couple of the lively ones. Let's play a couple more. And then let's get a gentle one. And you've got these simple ones as well, which are just really basic, simple rhythms, just if you need that. Let's choose this one. And then these alternative ones as well, which there's some really magic stuff that's happening in here, useful for all sorts of different stuff, different playing styles within the same rhythm. And let's just choose a couple more that are from different tempos. So I'll set my DAW to 90 so you get the true sense of what these are at. So lively. Some gentle ones. So let's look at some of the 140s as well. So I've turned my DAW's tempo to 140 so you hear what they actually were recorded like. So as you could hear there, what I was doing rather than playing all the chords at once is just playing naturally like I would do on a piano, and then you're getting all the rhythms happening at slightly different intervals and slightly different times, and you're creating much more of a sense of rhythm and excitement. It's really cool to do that. Let's choose a couple of the lively ones. Really cool. Let's choose a couple of the alternative ones. So yeah, absolutely loads to explore, loads to get on with. What I've done next is prepared a couple of these where I've stacked some of them. So what you can do is just hold down Shift on your keyboard and play multiple versions at the same time, multiple different rhythms. Obviously, you can just split these out on your DAW and just play them separately, but it's quite nice sometimes to play two or more at once to get a completely different feel. So what I've got here is 89 and 149. This is at 140. I've got another one here, so this is 74 and 131. This is at 120 beats per minute. And then the final one I've got is 3 stacked together. So this is rhythms 2, 5 and 7, all at 90 beats per minute. A couple of gentle ones, and then one of them is one of the alternative ones. Absolutely brilliant, so fun to play. Like I say, experiment, because don't always just get into the same idea that, all right, I'm writing something at 90 and it's gentle, so let's just, you know, use one of those. Explore with using something that's written at 140 that's alternative, because you never know what you might find in there that's going to work together. And explore with stacking them up as well, because you'll write stuff differently because they're stacked and because you're playing multiple versions at the same time. Just go have fun, and that's the best thing to do. So the last 2 features I want to show you just before we move on is the double track mode and the range mode, and these are available across the whole library. So the range mode first, you've got standard, which is the range that we recorded the cello at, so all the way from open C all the way up to the middle C. And then you've got this extended range which pulls the samples, extends them beyond what they were recorded at. Useful at the top. And then sounds absolutely incredible down the bottom end as well. So yeah, really cool. Obviously a cello doesn't normally play down that low, so it doesn't sound completely natural, but I still love the sound of those samples being pulled that far apart because it just still sounds interesting and completely gives weight to that bottom end when you need it. And all still tempo synced as well, so don't worry about it not being slipping out of synchronization. It will still tempo sync even at those extended ranges. So that's really cool. And then on to double track mode, and once you turn this on, you will never ever want to turn it off again. That's how good it is. That's how much I love it. Most of my demos have been written with this on. Obviously you can turn it off, but it is such a great feature. And this replicates basically double tracking in the studio. So if you don't know about this is where people record two versions of exactly the same take, and then they put one in the left speaker, one in the right, and it creates this really immersive stereo sound. I'm a huge fan of artists that use it. I think Elliott Smith was maybe my favorite artist to ever use this on his vocals. Absolutely beautiful recordings. It sounds just completely different. So we'll turn it off first. I've got a different rhythm loaded so you can hear it. So this is without. And then let's turn it on. Love it. So you've got two of the same performances being played at exactly the same time, and because you've got microscopic differences in timing and feel, you're getting this really kind of like stereo sound. You've got this pan control at the bottom, which you can change the panning on, so that's at the extreme. So one cello's in the left speaker only, one's in the right only, so you're getting those completely separate sounds, but you can move it more towards the middle. Really cool. I love it. Like I say, if you've got that turned on, I struggle to think that you'll ever turn it off again, but you can if you want to. Don't, but you can. So that is the double track feature, available across the whole library, so you can use it on absolutely everything. Right, let's move on to the shorts next. You've got 15 unique short articulations, all recorded with that same kind of like percussive inspiration that we wanted to achieve with the whole library. Although there are a couple in here that are not quite as percussive as the others. The brushed ones are absolutely beautiful. Anyway, so the spiccato first. And then let's move on to these brushed ones now. Let's turn on this double track feature as well. And then the brushed long ones as well. And these maybe are my favourite ones of the whole library. I'm not sure, but I've written loads with these already. Absolutely beautiful. We spent ages crafting just the right performance for those because I was so specific about exactly the sound I wanted. Short harmonics. And then col legno. And again, you've got that extended range as well, so down the bottom end they sound great. And then guitar picks, something we explored on Novella Origin was using guitar picks on stringed instruments. And here's a slightly different take to Novella Origin. These are a bit more shorter and a bit more percussive. Let's just choose a different reverb for some of these. Something a bit closer. And pit's muted. And then you're moving on to these slightly more experimental short articulations where we're like, what else can we do to make articulations that, you won't be able to get anywhere else? So staccato muted. And then staccato dug. These are really like getting into the strings. Like really aggressively sounding on that one, and then quivers. Solpont scrapes. And then ricochets, I love these. And then on page 2, you've got these detuned ones as well. And bearing in mind, this cello is more than 300 years old. We were like, Polly, can you detune your cello? You're happy to do that? And she was like, yeah, I'd love to do that. So we experimented. We got down to like a whole tone. She was like, do you want me to go more? I was like, yeah, let's keep on going. One more. Yeah, let's keep on going. One more. Should we just push it again? And we got down to kind of like the G below the C. So 5 semitones below what it should be tuned at. And then we were like, let's just stop there before things get completely broken and we destroy this absolutely beautiful cello. So this is what this sounds like. Really cool. And then these Solpont swells. So yeah, and then after that we were basically like, let's not push the cello any further, let's stop, let's get it back to where it is normally tuned before the whole cello has to go to a luthier for extensive repairs because we've ruined it in a recording studio. So yeah, enjoy those detuned ones because they came with a lot of sweating in the recording studio. Just like, is it okay? Yeah, should we just keep on going? It's okay. They sounded good. They were worth it. The juice was worth the squeeze. There's 15 flourishes here, again just designed to kind of add like little accents, interesting parts to the rhythms, supplement the rhythms themselves. They can be used on their own, do whatever you want with them. But we thought, wouldn't it be cool just to add little accents and interesting moments to the rhythms. So you got decrescendos and the fifth versions, crescendos, fifth versions, and then crescendo solponts. These are great. Really like sharp and spiky as they achieve that full crescendo. And then rundowns, these are super useful. And then run-ups, glisses, gliss-ups, and then we've got these little bend downs and bend ups, and then on page 2 we've got these fall offs and then a couple of trills as well. So here I've just created a little demo that you can see and hear just to understand how these flourishes might be used. I've chucked 5 in here just to see how you can spice up just a fairly standard rhythm that I've got here. So I'll play the rhythm first. So that's just kind of like nothing special about that. And then let's add these flourishes in. So I've added quite a few here. Really cool. So I've got like the crescendos in there, I've got the bends, the run-ups, I've got the little decrescendos at the end there. Those are really great just for like punctuating a final piece. Really, really nice. And the crescendos as well, just for adding like little moments of excitement in the middle. Really cool. Or you can just use them completely on their own and create something completely new and unusual. Then the last thing I want to do is show you the percussion. And this percussion has been made, it's a bit similar to our Percussion Untamed library, but they are all brand new samples that we've recorded. And these are just hitting the cello with various things, so like thumping it with our hands, hitting it with the actual bow itself, other metallic objects, all just to get sounds that have been made just by hitting the cello. So you've got loads to play with. Loads of round robins in there, velocity layers as well, so they all sound really alive. You've got the double track mode as well, so you can use that. And then a tuner as well, so if you wanted to tune each sample, you can tune each sample completely independently of the last one. Or what you can do is just tune the whole thing. I'm a big fan of using percussion tuned quite low, so in Kontakt, just actually tune the whole thing down. Really cool. You can get some really deep, interesting sounds from there. I've created a little percussion demo here. I'll play the percussion element first, and then you can hear the rhythm that I've put over the top of it. And then here's the actual rhythms that I've put behind it. So the last thing I want to do is just explore the microphones and the mixes that we've created for you. So you've got 4 different production ready mixes, all designed just good to go out the box, nothing needed to do with them. And then you've got the 4 original microphone positions as well, if you wanted to create your own mix and get stuck in there. So the mixes that we've got, the one that's loaded up by default is mix 2, which is just a nice natural sounding mix already. And I've got no reverb turned on for this part of the demo, so you can hear exactly what those mic positions and mixes sound like. Then the mix 1 is like super dry, super close up. Very, very dry, very mono as well on that sound. And then you've got mix 3, which is a much more hyped sound. So much more, there's a bit more distortion in there, a bit more compression, and a bit more top end as well. So it makes it sound a lot more bitey, a lot more top end. And then mix 4 is a ambient mix. And that ambient mix has been created on this microphone page here. So if we turn off all of the mixes and you've just got the microphones, you've got spot, close, room and ambient. And the ambient microphone position was made, we had the studio door left open, and then we shoved a microphone in the gallery, in the hallway outside the studio. So you're getting a nice ambient position. I'll play that one first. Really different perspective, completely different to what we would normally include in a library, but I love it. It was Tom the engineer's idea to shove one out there, and I'm a big fan of it. So let's go all the way from spot. Close. Room. It was recorded in a really dry studio, so it's a really controlled signal, but what you can do with the mics and mixes is absolutely, you can change it to make it yours. And then with all these reverbs that are included, you can put it in a completely different space, and then you do whatever you want to it after that to make it yours. Effects, transform it, manipulate it, do whatever you want to make it fit for you. Polly has absolutely smashed this library. So pleased with it. When we originally approached her and said, like, please do the library, there's nobody else that we can think of that we want involved in this library. She was the absolute perfect person for this, and she's absolutely brought her A game. It's been such an exciting library to produce and to be involved in the recording studio, just throwing up bits of inspiration and saying, what would you do with this, and then coming up with something on the fly, you know, just workshopping it for a minute and then putting it down, and keeping that excitement and that energy on tape has been absolutely incredible to be involved with. And then so proud of the team to take all of that material, all of those rhythms, all of the sounds that we've recorded over absolutely days of recording, and then to put it into this interface and make it as playable and as exciting to use as it is, has just been a joy to be a part of. So I really hope you enjoy using it. We love hearing your demos, so please, when you get this and you make something, send it to us, because we absolutely hear everything, we listen to everything, and we love to hear how it ends up in the wild. And it always amazes us, it always surprises us how these things getting used during production. We're always like, oh, this is how it's going to be used, and then you guys take it and then turn it into something completely different, which we always love to hear. That's it. If there's anything else, drop it in the comments. As I always say, we try and answer everything that we can do, but apart from that, I want you to get this under your fingers and play it, because it's absolutely brilliant. That's everything. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.